He wanted to help people hear, but his invention made it possible for the whole world to talk. He turned sound into connection, and connection into history. This is the story of Alexander Graham Bell, the man who invented the telephone. Alexander Graham Bell was born in 1847 in Edinburgh, Scotland. His father was a teacher who worked with the deaf, and his mother was a talented pianist, though she had lost most of her hearing. From a young age, Alexander was curious about sound and speech. He loved music and machines, and he often tried to understand how sound worked. He would speak close to his mother's forehead so she could feel the vibrations and understand him. That was how deeply he cared about communication. As a young man, Alexander studied science and sound. When his brothers died of illness, his parents decided to move to Canada for a better life. Later, Alexander moved to the United States, where he began teaching deaf students how to speak. He worked at a school for the deaf in Boston, and one of his students was Mabel Hubbard, who had lost her hearing after an illness. Over time, the two fell in love and got married. Mabel believed in his dreams and supported him in all his experiments. At that time, many scientists were trying to find a way to send sound through wires, not just dots and dashes like the telegraph, but real human voices. Alexander spent long nights working in his workshop, experimenting with metal, wires, and electricity. His assistant, Thomas Watson, helped him test different designs. Then, one day in 1876, something amazing happened. While working with chemicals, Alexander accidentally spilled acid on his clothes. He shouted, "Mr. Watson, come here! I want to see you!" To his surprise, Watson heard his voice clearly through the wire in the other room. It was the first time in history that a person's voice had traveled through a wire. The telephone had been born. Soon after, Alexander Graham Bell showed his invention to the public. People were amazed. They could now talk to someone miles away as if they were standing next to them. In 1877, he founded the Bell Telephone Company, and the telephone quickly spread across America and the world. At first, many people thought it was strange or unnecessary, but soon they realized how powerful it was. Families, businesses, and governments all began to rely on this new way of communication. Although the telephone made him famous, Alexander Graham Bell continued to explore many other ideas. He worked on machines that could record sound, helped invent the metal detector, and even experimented with flying machines. He also spent much of his life helping the deaf learn to communicate and find confidence. He said, "The most successful men in the end are those whose success is the result of steady growth." Alexander loved learning, and he believed that knowledge should be used to help others. He once said, "When one door closes, another opens. But we often look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one which has been opened for us." Alexander Graham Bell died in 1922 at the age of 75. On the day of his funeral, telephone operators across America stopped their service for 1 minute in his honor. All the telephones in the country went silent, a quiet tribute to the man who had given them a voice. From a curious boy in Scotland, to a teacher who helped the deaf, to the inventor who changed how humans communicate, Alexander Graham Bell showed that science can connect hearts as well as minds. Because of him, the world became smaller and people became closer. Thank you for listening. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more simple stories about people who changed the world.